appreciate you. Everything that you done for me.
I really like Terence Crawford, right? Because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive, he's due a massive performance. And I think Canelo's made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore.
I know his spirit.
Yeah?
Yeah, he got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out, and then they just...
Terence Crawford officially closed out his last day of training camp ahead of the highly anticipated showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Joining him was Turkey Alalshikh, who showed unwavering support throughout the camp. Crawford expresses appreciation for Turkey's presence and encouragement during this intense preparation period. Despite the hard work already put in, Crawford made it clear the mission isn't complete yet. Carry himself with the same confidence and focus that suggests he fully expects to get the job done when the bell rings.
Hey, appreciate you. Everything that you done for me. You and Riyadh.
You must.
The job ain't done yet.
Yeah.
The job ain't done yet.
Yeah.
But
Saturday, deliver the job.
But listen, I appreciate the opportunity.
No retirement.
That's it. Yeah.
In the final phase of preparation, Terence Crawford has pushed himself harder than ever for the biggest challenge of his career against Canelo Alvarez. Training footage captures him sparring at a high pace, sharpening his reflexes and fine-tuning both his defensive skills and offensive precision. His coaching team praises the focus and discipline he's shown throughout camp, describing a fighter who prepared with complete dedication. Physically lean and mentally locked in, Crawford looks ready to step into the ring with full confidence on fight night. Crawford's confidence has been evident in both his words and his actions as he prepares for the fight of his life. While acknowledging the size of the challenge ahead, he speaks with conviction of someone who fully believes victory is within reach. Interviews and training clips show a fighter who embraces pressure rather than fears it, using it to fuel his focus. Crawford makes it clear that his preparation isn't just physical, it's mental. No matter how difficult the fight gets, he trusts his strategy, discipline, and self-belief to carry him through to the finish line.
How do you see this fight with Canelo going?
I'm definitely going to win the fight, for sure. But, I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think he's going to bring the best out of me. I'm going to bring the best out of him, and it's going to be exciting.
Unlike some fighters who risk overtraining in search of perfection, Crawford has taken a smarter, more measured approach. He's been open about not wanting to push his body past its limits, choosing instead to focus on high-quality, structured training sessions. It reflects the maturity of a seasoned athlete who values recovery as much as hard work. Crawford believes the effort and intensity he's put in during camp are more than enough, and that overdoing could lead to fatigue or even injuries before the biggest fight of his career.
Right now, I'm not training hard. I'm not even training, really. I don't want to overtrain because me personally, when I go in the gym, I give my all, and I don't want to burn myself out.
Lester Martinez, Crawford's main sparring partner, has offered a bold warning about what awaits Canelo Alvarez. After spending hours trading punches with Crawford in camp, Martinez insists that Canelo will be surprised by the power coming his way. He argues that while many view Canelo as the naturally bigger man, Crawford feels every bit as strong and imposing in the ring. Martinez says the intensity behind Crawford's shots has convinced him that Canelo is about to face a serious threat. Coming from someone who's experienced it firsthand, these comments add even more weight to Crawford's preparations.
No, está como dicen muchos, está cabrón. Está preparado, está listo, a pesar de venir de una categoría muy abajo, subir a la 168, pues yo tengo los sparring con él. Tanto lo he ayudado como he sentido que él me ha ayudado también a mí. Entonces, anteriormente estaba enfocado en ayudarlo, pero luego que me dijeron que yo iba a pelear, ¿sabes qué? Necesito ayudarte, pero que me ayudes. Y ya en el ring nos entendemos. Yo casi no hablo inglés. Todavía voy practicándolo, pero en el ring nos entendemos muy bien. Y hay una buena vibra, pero él está listo. Y yo también estoy listo.
El tema del peso, ¿cómo crees lo afectará en la noche de la pelea haciendo sparring con él?
¿Cómo?
Haciendo sparring con Terence, la gente habla, pues el Canelo es muy grande, sí. 2 categorías.
Bueno, en realidad en tamaño creo que están iguales, pero en diferencia de peso, sí, a lo mejor Canelo está más acostumbrado a esa categoría que Terence, pero te digo, vengo haciendo sparring con él desde que estaba en las 147 libras, mi primer sparring con él en las 147, yo era ya 168, sigo siendo 168, y lo único que hizo ahora pues es subir de peso, aumentar de peso, y sí se siente muy diferente. Haber hecho sparring con él en 147 y ahora hacer sparring con él en 168. Pero yo creo que...
¿Cómo se siente diferente?
En el sentido que le he sentido más pegada, más explosivo, la rapidez, el snap lo tiene todavía el cabrón, no lo ha perdido, lo he sentido. Pero creo que la nutrición que lleva, el equipo de trabajo con el que tiene...
Former champion Duke McKenzie has made a bold prediction, claiming Terence Crawford has a perfect style to break down Canelo Alvarez. According to McKenzie, many of Canelo's recent opponents haven't been true elite-level fighters, whereas Crawford brings a completely different challenge. He highlights Crawford's adaptability, sharp ring IQ, and ability to adjust mid-fight as key factors that could expose Canelo's weaknesses. While Canelo has handled a wide range of opponents in the past, McKenzie believes he has yet to face someone with Crawford's combination of skill, timing, and precision.
Years, when you look, since he's been off the mad cow meat, right? You look at his last 5 fights, he's boxed ordinary fighters, you know, and they're not in the same league. They're really not in the same league. And I think to myself, his last 5 fights, what's that kid's name? Hamza Shiraz, right? So he boxed in his last fight. He knocked out, what's the kid's name?
Belanga.
Right, he knocked out Belanga. Belanga took your man there. He took him the distance. Now you only got to balance it up. If Belanga can take him the distance, you got to say to yourself, what is Terence Crawford going to do to Cotto? Sorry, call him Cotto.
Canelo, yeah.
Canelo Cotto. I've got the names mixed up. Yeah, right. So, what's he going to do to you know what? I look at the fight and I think to myself, I really like Terence Crawford, right? Because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive. He's due a massive performance, and I don't think Canelo is made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore. You don't get any head movement from him anymore. He doesn't show you a punch and hit you with another one anymore. There's no variety in his whole sort of makeup. And I look at him and I think to myself, Canelo's become, just in my opinion, I think he's become a little bit pedestrian in as much as goes in straight lines, comes out in straight lines. There's no urgency to his work.
One of the main talking points before this fight has been the size difference, with critics claiming that moving up in weight to fight Canelo would leave Crawford at a major disadvantage. But recent training footage has changed that narrative completely. Crawford now looks bigger, stronger, and more physically imposing than ever, while still carrying the same speed and accuracy that define his style. Analysts who once doubted him are rethinking their predictions, with some even suggesting he could score a knockout. The transformation in his physique has raised serious questions about whether Canelo will truly have the size advantage everyone expected when they meet in the ring.
Don't win fights. And everybody, it seems like, that says muscles don't win fights usually have ridiculous muscle mass. Like Devin Haney was like, muscles don't win. And Devin's like way bigger than everybody else at 135 pounds and jacked to the gills. That's that snack shit. Okay, we're not doing that. But Terence Crawford also on that snack shit. Anyway, Bud Crawford did just drop a body transformation pic. Let's take a look at it. Boom! Son, I'm sorry, I have a flat tire. Does anyone have a jack to help me out? Oh, thank you, Bud Crawford. You're actually huge. The man has abs on his abs on his abs. I'm not trying to glaze, but that doesn't look like a 147-pounder. It doesn't look like a 154-pounder. That looks like a grown man. He's definitely put some weight on, coming to 168 pounds. And I can tell you that now. Take what I'm about to show you with a grain of salt because it is on weigh-in day, but look at what he was at 140 pounds. Now, again, he's out of camp. Hasn't made the weight cut yet, but that's him right now. But I mean, that is crazy. Couple of things. Yes, muscles don't win you fights, and the biggest question we have to ask now is, how will this newfound muscle mass affect Bud Crawford in the fight? Because one of the things I have said continuously about this fight is that the weight issue has been completely overblown by people. And what I mean is, there is not a massive weight disparity between these two fighters. What Canelo walks around at and what Terence Crawford walks around at is probably similar, and maybe Terence Crawford even weighs a little more. I don't know. I saw the picture of the scale of him at 186. It may be a little less when he's normally not trying to gain weight, but that's not the point of the weight difference. The point of saying there is a weight difference is that Canelo Alvarez has consistently fought and been successful at 160 to 168.
Controversy erupted when analyst Showbiz the Adult raised eyebrows over Turkey Alalshikh's involvement in Crawford's training camp. In one clip, Turkey can be heard telling Crawford not to retire after the Canelo fight, a comment Showbiz speculated might hint at a hidden agenda or expectations tied to making the fight happen. While he admitted the theory was purely speculative, it has nonetheless stirred debate among fans and analysts, with some questioning whether outside influences could play a role in such a high-stakes event.
The first part, return the favor. But Turkey, in a second thought, said, no, I'm going to deliver this message. He goes back to Bud, and he says, and don't retire after this. Don't retire.
No retirement. That's it, yeah.
That's what Turkey meant when he was trying to say, return the favor.
Guys, see,
You must
job ain't done
return
yet.
it. Yeah.
I did this for you. You got this big fight. Yeah, the job ain't done. Deliver the job, but don't retire. Return the favor. That is the most important part, and we're gonna break that down. The deliver the job thing, that is more of a language difference, okay? Because Bud is saying, listen, the job ain't done. He's, oh yeah, deliver the job Saturday. Mostly meaning, put on a good fight. Fight your heart out. If you win, cool. That'll be best if you win. But I'm just saying, it's not about winning. Winning is about trying. Winning is about going for greatness. Marvelous Marvin Hagler wasn't undefeated. Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Muhammad Ali, Sam Langford, Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, some of these Gene Tunney, some of the greatest fighters of all time, Willie Pep, Sammy Sadler. These guys weren't undefeated, right? But that's what made them great, is that they were taking on all challenges. His Excellency Turkey Alalshikh knows that the product isn't the fighter. The product is the sport. So he's trying to put on the best matches, which is why he's saying, don't retire, return the favor, because I got more ideas for you.
Rapper Boozy also weighed in on the fight, calling Terence Crawford a silent assassin. He explained that Crawford's calm demeanor and quiet confidence make him even more dangerous because he doesn't rely on trash talk or showmanship to make his point. Instead, his performances inside the ring speak for themselves, powered by focus and determination. Boozy warned that Canelo should be very cautious, as Crawford's composure masks the explosive power and accuracy he brings on fight night. By labeling him a silent assassin, Boozy perfectly summed up Crawford's persona, a fighter who lets his fists deliver the message.
I know his spirit.
Yeah?
Yeah, he got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out, and then they just, you know, I've been like that with them niggas. Like I didn't watch Crawford. I didn't hung out with this nigga. This is my boy. Like this nigga got a killer in him. You know, Canelo better be fucking ready. Like this nigga got a killer in him, bro.
Boxing analyst Russ Amber emphasized how historic Crawford's decision truly is, jumping multiple weight classes to challenge one of boxing's most dominant champions. He noted that only a handful of fighters throughout history have attempted such a bold leap, and even fewer have succeeded. Amber praised Crawford's courage, pointing out that win or lose, taking on this challenge shows his ambition and fearlessness, the kind of traits that separate great fighters from ordinary ones.
I can't think of anybody, especially someone who hasn't even competed in that division. So, Yeah, I can't think of anybody. And to think that Crawford, started out at 135. I mean, the last guy I can think of doing that would have been Duran. But I think Duran went up and won the title at middleweight, and he didn't do it all in one fell swoop. It was one weight category after another. Leonard at 35, Davey Moore at 54, then Aran Barkley at 60. I mean, it just kept moving up. But I don't know of anybody that's gone from 35 up to 168 and basically leapfrog the division. So from champion at 147, one fight at 154, and then leapfrogs over an entire section of top 10 contenders at 168 pounds, never having fought at 168. Oh, leapfrogs 160 over into the contenders at 168, right into a title shot. Yeah, I can't think of anybody that's done that. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. Tommy, over the last couple of years, I think Canelo's come to rely on his power. Do you think that'll be enough against Crawford's ring IQ and his combinations and footwork?
I can't think of any fighter where punching power alone is enough. So, Canelo has come around with two things, punching power and defense. He's still very, very difficult to hit, which allows him to load up on shots and get into the range that he wants to get into, where he can fire away with hard punching power, not setting them up as much as he used to in the past, not having that, that same work rate that he used to have. But if he's just thinking of going out there looking for that one shot.
Another major talking point ahead of the fight has been the size difference between the two fighters. For years, Canelo was viewed as a naturally bigger man, but recent footage of Crawford tells a different story. Analysts recall how Crawford already looked strong and well-prepared when he moved up in weight for the Madrigal fight. Now, at 168 pounds, he appears even more physically developed, bulkier yet still fast and precise. The sight of a bigger, stronger Crawford has surprised many experts who once assumed Canelo's size would be a decisive advantage. Instead, the comparison now suggests Crawford may have not only closed the gap, but potentially shifted the balance in his favor.
Now, when he fought Israel Madrimov, that was at the 154-pound weight limit. But when Crawford actually got into the ring on fight night, he was actually the heavier of the two men, clocking in at 169.8 pounds. We'll call it 170 just for the ease of the video. But 170 pounds at 154, that's a very, very solid rehydration. That is a very good weight for a 154-pound fighter. And our man Canelo Alvarez gives us evidence and testament to this. I've gone back through the years to have a look at what Canelo weighed in the ring when he fought 154 pounds to give us context as to the size difference. And don't get me wrong, Canelo will be bigger now than he was back then, but Crawford will be too. Crawford will also put that extra size on, and whilst he's not experienced fighting with the extra weight, it will give us some kind of understanding of how much of an issue it might be. We'll take everything into account, but just to begin with, how big is the size difference? Well, going back and look at some of these fights, we'll start with the Floyd Mayweather fight. So that was at 152-pound catch weight, and I said in my tactical video that Canelo was dehydrated for that one, that he wasn't at his maximum capability. Now, I still stand by that assessment because he was so green in his career, and because I feel his best performances have come at higher weight classes, and especially where he's not been having to cut lots of weight. But just for context in that one, he was 165 pounds in the ring versus Floyd that night. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather weighed 150.5 pounds, so there was actually a 14.5-pound weight difference that night. So you start to understand where I'm going with this in this video. I want to look at the context of where there's been weight gaps before. So someone who was 14.5 pounds lighter than Canelo was able to beat him on that night. Now look, Mayweather is an all-time great. Mayweather was unbelievably skilled and had soldiers tied up in knots. He couldn't do anything with him. But let's look at some other fights for some more context. When he fought Austin Trout, they were around about the same when they got in the ring. When they fought at 154 pounds, Canelo was 172 and Trout was 171. And that's really interesting to look at because that tells us that Canelo was only a couple of pounds heavier than Crawford when rehydrated when he fought at 154 pounds.
Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, has repeatedly emphasized that his fighter is far bigger and stronger than critics often acknowledge. According to him, the move to 168 pounds isn't nearly as dramatic as people think. Bomac believes Canelo's size advantage has been overstated and insists Crawford has the natural frame and power to compete comfortably at super middleweight. His confidence highlights the mindset in Crawford's camp. that this isn't uncharted territory for Terence, but rather a weight class where he can perform at his best.
Omac also added that when Crawford said that he's gonna fight Canelo at 168, that he was completely fine with it because Crawford is already a natural big guy to begin with, and that once again, contrary to popular belief, Canelo is not the bigger guy. Basically, if anything, it's easier for Crawford because he's no longer gonna have to drain himself.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and we'll see you in the next one.